Good morning and welcome back. The forecast for Hurricane Matthew does have this right along our coast. If we could go ahead and get the Max 1 computer, that would be, there we go. It's looking like we could see some potential really damaging impacts along our coast. So I want to get straight into that, and then we'll take a look at the forecast and some other information on Matthew. So some possible coastal effects as we head throughout the day today and into early Friday. Seas are going to continue to increase. The forecast is for seas increasing up to about 40 feet. Of course, we all know that is very, very rough seas. That's going to mean large pounding waves on the coast, which is going to result in significant beach erosion for, in fact, a lot of the east coast of the state, because this storm is forecast to move along the entire east coast. But what I really want to talk to you about, the life-threatening possibility for storm surge. That is wording from the National Hurricane Center. They're saying the possible inundation from storm surge could definitely be life-threatening if you are not prepared or live in a low-lying area. So let's talk a little bit about storm surge here and exactly what that means. So you get a strong Category 4 hurricane just off the coast, and the winds start to pile up that water as it begins to move on shore, and you can see it here. The sea level rises as the water piles up. So when we're talking about 3 to 5 feet, 6 to 9 feet, that's what we're talking about, that pile up of water on shore as the hurricane moves close to the coast, and you get those hurricane winds aiding in the pile up of that water. And that's when you start to see that storm surge moving inland. You've got high waves from this as well. And that's why flooding from storm surge is a really significant worry, especially if you live in a flooding prone area that already floods frequently. So this is what we're looking at for the possibility of storm surge in our area. We really want you to take this very seriously, especially if you live along the coast. And as I said, especially if you live in an area that is prone to flooding. So southern Palm Beach County, 2 to 3 feet. This is where we're really seeing the minimal amounts. As we head into central and even northern Palm Beach County, we see those go up around the West Palm Beach area, 3 to 5 feet. North into Palm Beach County, Jupiter, Jonathan Dickinson State Park areas, so southern Martin County as well. You can see 5 to 7 feet here. So that water pileup that I was just talking about, 5 to 7 feet is the possible forecast. Now, it's important to note that this is just the possible forecast. They're not saying there is, this is the definite forecast. We don't want to scare anyone, but we do want you to be prepared because 5 to 7 feet is possible. Northern Palm Beach County into southern Martin County, and that continues to go up as we head north along the coast, heading into the Treasure Coast. You see Heritage Ridge around Stewart, 6 to 8 feet possible. And even in the St. Lucie River, and as we're starting to get into some of the waterways inland, you're still going to get that pileup of water off the ocean, and that is going to even start to cause a storm surge for some of the inland places as well. It's really as we head into St. Lucie County, up into Indian River County, you see it here, 6 to possibly 9 feet of storm surge. That's that pileup of water there, and that's why there are some mandatory evacuations for portions of the area along the coast, mainly from Martin County up into the Treasure Coast right now. This is an expansive storm, and we're going to start to see these rain bands moving in later this morning. We are starting to pick up the eye of Matthew on our radar, and that means that storm is getting even closer. Right now, less than 250 miles away. We are starting to see some rain this morning, but mainly this is just moisture being pulled in. This is not actually rain bands off the storm. So if you are, for any reason, although really if you can avoid it, that would be great. But if you are for some reason heading out somewhere this morning, we do have some rain around that is not associated with Matthew. This is just a massive storm as it's spinning away in the Bahamas. You can see really the intensity of it as we take a look from a slightly different angle. The cloud tops shooting very, very high from this storm, and this is going to actually continue to strengthen. So forecast to stay a Category 3 hurricane through this morning. Heading into later today, it is forecast to strengthen back into a Category 4 hurricane, winds at 130 miles per hour. Let's break down the time frame a little bit on the official cone for you. Glenn and I were just taking a look at some of the models, and 2 of our very reliable models are wanting to make this a landfalling hurricane somewhere around our area, and we would not be surprised if we see a little bit more of a shift to the west with this cone as of the 5 a.m. update. Still waiting for that update to come out, though. It should be out any moment now. So heading into this evening and certainly overnight will be when we're seeing things the worst, as this Category 4 hurricane is just off our coast here, and that is going to start to move north of our area by Friday and then farther away as we head into the weekend. So you see this here, taking a closer look at the full track, it will start to possibly wrap around. That's something we really don't want to worry about right now. Right now, we want to get you through the rest of today and into Friday and answer a few questions from some of the viewers.